So, what's up, guys? Welcome to Full Court Talk. My name is Spencer, and I know I've been gone for a while, but I had work and school, but we're back, and I got a new guest. So, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is CJ. I've been knowing this guy for quite a while. Actually, we went to high school together, and then also community college. So it's been a minute, but glad to be talking to him again. So
Yeah, I'm happy to have you on, bro. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
appreciate it, man.
But before we get into today's topics, let's get
Yeah.
into who you think is gonna win the Bubble Bowl, the finals.
Hey, to be honest, bro, one thing that a lot of people know about me is that I am a Lakers fan. So, even though things aren't looking so well with the way that we've been playing, even though we did win the Portland series, I'm still going to go with the Lakers to come out the West. And, as of right now, everybody had the Bucks as a favorites before going into this Miami series. And after watching everything, bro, I'm going to go with the Lakers and I'm going to go with Miami because right now they look well equipped. I think they have enough pieces. Everything they're doing is Coach Spo. I respect what he does, especially after the big three post era. So I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I'm gonna go with Miami, and another reason for that too is I thought Boston had it in the bag with Toronto.
Same.
But Toronto, they show their championship mentality coming back, all starting from OG Anunoby. So yeah, my final take is I'm going with Lakers, Miami, man. What about you?
I'm gonna go with Lakers are gonna make it. Like, even
Yeah.
though the Rockets they won the first game,
Oh yeah.
the Lakers are gonna adjust no matter
Mhm.
what. And I
Mhm.
think they showed that with the Portland series. They
Yep.
adjusted real quick.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be Lakers coming out of the West. I think that's pretty obvious. The Clippers don't have enough. I think
Mhm.
they don't have that chemistry.
Mhm.
Nuggets
Yeah.
they're really hit or miss. I think
Yeah.
their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
They
No, I
need more on
agree.
defense.
Mhm.
For the East, Bryce actually picked the Heat
Oh,
to win.
okay. Okay.
And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. And then after seeing them, you really
Yeah,
realize they have such a deep roster.
they do. They
That
do.
Andre Iguodala trade was super clutch.
Yeah, it really
As
was.
bad as he was in the regular season, I think after getting the hiatus and
Mhm.
just being able to get some kind of chemistry with them,
Yeah.
it helps so much because he's such a competitor.
Mhm.
Because as a Warriors fan, I know who this dude is.
Oh
He
yeah.
is great on defense, great
Yep.
playmaker. He does everything. So I,
IQ
I
wise
really
too.
think, yeah, it's
Mhm.
gonna be a toss up between whoever wins the Celtics Raptors series and the Heat
Mhm.
because
I respect that.
all three of those teams are so good. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Lakers Heat.
Okay.
They are
Well,
literally the two best teams right now.
okay. So I didn't answer this, but I wanted to ask you, who do you have winning if they do meet in the finals, and how many games?
I'm gonna go Heat in 6.
Okay, I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
You know, personally for me, I know for sure it wouldn't be an easy series.
No.
Because well, one, Jimmy Butler is playing amazing. He's leading the charge. And yesterday, Bam Adebayo had a double-double, even though they lost. But you could see it with him, the growth, and with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, who came out of nowhere,
I
right?
love Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
Got these jumpers so nice.
Yep. I love his game as well. But, the bias in me has the Lakers winning in 7 just because LeBron, you can never count him out the playoffs.
Yeah.
I have faith that Danny Green will step up at one point or another. He's
He
been disappointing me.
he's that guy that just shows up in the finals.
Yeah, no,
Does not matter who it is, who he's playing against, he shows up.
yeah,
He's been really bad in the bubble for some reason. Shooters have
yeah,
been shooting really well, but for
hmm
some reason he just can't get in a groove. But I think when he
yeah,
hits the finals, he'll be fine.
yeah. Going off of what you're saying, bro, KCP, he's had his game, but Danny Green still hasn't had that it game.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do believe that he'll come alive in the finals. I know for sure it won't be an easy task, especially with the way that Miami plays. They're scrappy. Their defense is impeccable. The way that they suffocate you,
Yeah.
it's insane. And the Lakers have a bad rep with folding under pressure, as everybody saw yesterday.
Yeah.
So I believe that they can get it done, but it's not going to be easy. It won't be a sweep for sure, but I say 7. So that's just me.
It's gonna be a great series, like
Oh yeah.
no matter what, and I'm excited for that
Oh
because
yeah.
that is like I think no matter where you go, like if the Lakers are in it against
Yeah.
anyone in the East, it's gonna be a great series
That's true. That is true.
because the 4 East teams are the top East teams, like
Oh yeah.
that's no doubt, and
Mhm.
like I think Jimmy Butler has stepped up his game completely in
Yeah.
Miami. I think he heard all the talk all off season,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was like, he
Yep.
got it going. He looked really good throughout the whole bubble.
Yeah. He's definitely elevated his game, and as opposed to like everything that everyone's been saying about him and how he's been like switching teams and how he's a bad teammate and all that stuff. You could see like Miami, they're following him.
Yeah,
It's like he's only been there for 1 season, but they really respect his leadership. Him and Iguodala, obviously the veterans of the team, they're following his charge, and where they're gonna go as far as they can take him, honestly.
yeah,
And
and I really like Tyler Hero. I think he's gonna be
yes.
really nice.
Oh yeah.
Like next season, he's gonna be great. I think,
Oh yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
Goran Dragic off the bench, or like
Yeah.
starting right now. Even Kendrick Nunn, like he's
Yeah.
struggling right now, but
Yeah.
that team is really good, and I
Yeah.
think they
They're
were
deep.
definitely taken for granted. Like they're
Mhm.
deep, so it'll
Yeah.
be a great series. And I think the
Yeah.
Lakers are well equipped. I think they just need that third scorer to come out.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Everybody was hoping it to be Kuzma, but I'm not seeing it, man. Like he had his flashes in the bubble, but I'm just not seeing it. His IQ isn't there, personally.
No, no,
Um,
he's that guy. Like people thought, oh, he's gonna get a lot better, but I always thought like he shows
yeah.
one side. He has
Yeah.
no defense,
Mhm.
and his jumper is inconsistent at best.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
And I
agree.
think his ball his shot IQ
Mhm.
can be spotty.
Oh yeah, you know what? Like Kuzma, obviously having Bron and AD on your team is gonna take away your touches and all that stuff. But I feel like he struggled to play off of them. Um, Defense wise, surprisingly, he has a very good defensive net rating against James Harden. I don't know how that's possible, but you see, it doesn't look like it when it comes to games.
No,
Statistics and analytics, it's difficult because like watching him in the bubble, like he would get exposed on defense. He would get beat. Like I know it's hard, like guarding the other teams, like best players sometimes, and how fast these guys are. But it's just the communication that he has with other teammates is it's just not there. And like
yeah.
you said, his shot IQ is definitely definitely not there.
I mean, I've seen him take the ball down, and instead of like giving off to LeBron or AD, he like
Yeah.
takes a mid range, like heavily contested.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you can't do that on a championship team. You could do that with the Lakers, like when they were like with
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo,
Yeah.
but you can't do it now. Like you're fighting. Every game is so important. Every possession is so important,
Yeah.
and he definitely needs to learn that.
Yeah. I mean,
When you get in the
yes.
postseason, it's a different animal.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like you can argue that he showed that yesterday. He played horrible. Like he had one good block on James Harden. Other than that, like people were saying that they kept us in the third. Like Kuzma kept the Lakers in the third. However, we lost a 20-point lead. So why would why would the Lakers need for Kuzma to keep them in the game when we had a 20-point lead to begin with?
Yeah,
And
it shouldn't have been a 6 point game with
it shouldn't
like 40 seconds left.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But like I said, and like we both said, like that series potentially, if it happens, will be very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very
I
interesting
think
for sure.
with Jimmy Butler on LeBron, that's a
Hmm.
good matchup.
It
AD
is.
on Bam, great
Hmm.
matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. These are the guys that could potentially lead their team to the championship. Like Jimmy Butler. You know his resume when it comes on defense. AD, you know how he is. Second in defensive voting
Yeah,
after Giannis. So it's definitely interesting. Definitely
yeah.
want to
So
see.
I'm excited for the finals this year. Even though my
Yeah.
Warriors aren't in it for the first time, it's gonna be a
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
feeling, but
Yeah. Mhm. I respect
it'll
that.
be fun.
Yeah.
But let's get into today's topic. So
Okay.
we're talking about the Sixers and if they should break up Simmons and Embiid or just run it back,
Mhm.
or does Giannis need a Michael Jordan, or
Mhm.
is I guess he's not a Pippen. Let's be real, he's not Pippen.
I agree.
Um, if the Bucks lose to the Heat, will Giannis leave? If
Mhm.
so, where?
Okay.
So let's start with would you trade Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid or keep it and run it back?
Okay. You want me to go first?
You can go first. Your first
Okay.
time, you know.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I was just having this talk with one of my friends. His name's Benji. Basically, what me and him we both agreed on, and where we disagreed on, is where Ben Simmons and Embiid stand at the moment. So, to be honest, like seeing Brett Brown get fired, I understand it, but that plays into my answer because I always believed if Brett Brown were to stay and he didn't get fired, I believe that they would keep Ben Simmons and they would trade Joel Embiid. And surprisingly, when I said my answer, people would get surprised because I think he's going to the Warriors. You know, personally, because one of the things that the Warriors have to offer is that pick. And with that pick, it's looking like the Warriors, are going to get James Wiseman. And he is a unicorn, 6'11", can do just about everything, another freak out of nature. And so, I believe that the Sixers, if they're enticed with the Warriors pick and they do get Wiseman, I believe that you guys could swap him plus a couple draft picks, pieces to send for Embiid. And, the resume with Steph, how they played in All-Star games together. He would definitely enjoy being in the championship culture.
And then plus
So,
the Under Armour connection.
Under
They're
Armour
pretty
connection.
close.
Yeah, no, definitely. Under Armour connection for sure. That plays a lot. What people don't understand is, with these guys and their brands, like they built a brotherhood, not just on the court and off the court as well, But, that Under Armour connection runs deep because, if it weren't for COVID, I'm pretty sure they'd be touring right now. You know what I mean?
They'd be in like Asia.
Yeah.
They definitely would be.
Yep. They would be touring. And I believe that the Sixers prioritize Ben Simmons more. And my point is only proven even more after he went down and Joel Embiid couldn't lead these guys. They got swept.
And
You know what I mean?
he did everything he could, averaging like 30 points, 15 rebounds.
Yeah.
And he did all he could. It's just that team just needed a guard.
Yeah, exactly. He did. You know what, Joel Embiid, he did what he could, like you said. He got his, but it's just like I feel like there's times where my dad said this as well after watching Sixer games. You would notice that Embiid, his demeanor is not really there. Like he'll be
His body
lazy.
language is terrible.
Yeah, like his body language is terrible. Like when they're down, he'll just give up. In my opinion, like he'll try obviously for the sake of the team, but he'll give up. And so I feel like the Sixers take that into account. They notice it, and don't get me wrong, like we all do it. But it's just being a superstar like Embiid, you can't have that on your roster.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah,
like
and
it's tough.
yeah,
but you still have to fight through it.
yeah, no, definitely. And another thing that I wanted to bring up is that the Sixers are not lucky with health, as you can clearly see. What Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons have gone through when they drafted Okafor, what he had to go through, Markelle Fultz. So basically, I think that with a healthy Ben Simmons, they're going to prioritize him over Embiid. And it's just a matter of where he's going to go. But I believe that he would go to the Warriors essentially. So, yeah, that's basically what I think of it.
I actually 100% agree with you. I think Joel Embiid is the one I would trade.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons is on a similar contract, just 1 year longer.
Yeah.
But Simmons is a lot more durable.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he missed his first season, like he hasn't missed a lot of games. Like Embiid's missed 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Plus like 110 games for the regular season, not even counting the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like as good as Joel Embiid is, like when he's healthy and engaged, he's probably the best center.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like he is outstanding on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not always engaged and he's not always healthy. So it's like it's getting to a point where like you need to start thinking, can you keep it going?
Yes.
And I think it's an awkward fit because Simmons can't shoot. But he can create for other shooters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Embiid and him they clash in the middle, and I think it's tough to run an offense with 2 heavily inside guys like that, especially with back to basket not being very popular right now.
Yeah,
you can't win games with it anymore. You need a 3-point shot.
Yeah,
and I think that's where Ben Simmons comes in because he can create for everyone. You need to surround him with shooters.
Yes, I agree. Is
And
there?
like I would love Embiid on the Warriors because
Oh
he
yeah,
would offer something that we've never had before.
yeah, yeah.
And coming
Um,
to a winning culture like that, that's different.
yeah. What I wanted to say on top of what you just said right now with Ben Simmons getting surrounded by shooters, the Sixers have no shooters whatsoever. I
Tobias
mean,
Harris is not a shooter.
he's not, but he's probably the closest thing that they got, you know.
Yeah.
But like you said with Embiid going to the Warriors, it's just he's already a superstar in its own right. But you look what Draymond does for bigs, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? You guys had Damian Jones, Jordan Bell, Kevon Looney, and Festus Ezeli. Out of all of them, I would say Kevon Looney's the best, right?
Yeah.
But these guys, like, no disrespect to them, but they really weren't elite.
Mm-hmm.
But Draymond made them elite with the way that he plays and the way that he gets them involved. I mean, look at Jordan Bell. Like he was going crazy for Oregon. He was very athletic. He has a high motor. Go to the Warriors, obviously, as a rookie, and Draymond transforms him. You know, with the lob plays that you guys have
Yeah.
and all that. And think about what he can do for a superstar center that can shoot, right? And so, like he said, like you can't win games now face-up wise.
Yeah.
You need a lot of stretch when it comes to the forwards. And I would honestly argue that you can, even though Joel Embiid can somewhat shoot already, you could teach Ben Simmons how to shoot over Giannis. I would say that.
Yeah, definitely.
But like you said, Ben Simmons is definitely not as expendable as Joel Embiid, considering the resume with health and how he plays. Because with those two in the middle, it's clogging the lanes.
Yeah.
You know. So Ben Simmons can definitely run the floor from end to end, and Embiid can't. But I would say that he's the one to go. That's just it.
Yeah, I think Ben Simmons has shown that he's great on both sides. Like I think people really underrate his defense. He is so good on defense.
Yeah,
He can
isn't he
guard
top 5
bigs.
skills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He averaged 2.1 this year,
Mm-hmm.
which was a career high. Like he is really good on both sides.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
he can guard every position.
Yeah,
He's probably the closest thing we've had to Magic since Magic,
yeah,
other than
yeah,
LeBron.
yeah.
But like he is, once he gets that jumper, like
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
And his like his jumper, like his jump shot itself is not that bad. It
yeah,
can definitely be fixed. It's not
yeah,
like Giannis where his jumper just looks odd.
yeah. Um, and it's just like, like with Simmons, like they're gonna learn and respect it once he develops that shot. And like you said, it's really not that bad. We see him warming up. We see those videos. Like we've seen what it's capable of becoming. You know what I mean? And like as weird as it sounds, like his hands compared to Giannis, it's definitely obviously smaller. And I feel like that plays in a role with how they touch the ball and grip the ball. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Look at
Um,
Rondo. Rondo has
yeah,
had so much trouble shooting because his
yeah,
hands are gigantic.
yeah, exactly. And he's making threes now.
Yeah.
So I feel like you know, if Rondo can do it, obviously not the same player. I believe Ben Simmons can do it too, and that's why he's most likely to stay, personally. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think if I'm the Sixers, I'd try and attach Al Horford to that deal
I agree.
because Al Horford is god awful on the
Yeah, no,
Sixers. I don't
he
know what
is.
they were thinking, like with three inside presences like Ben Simmons, Horford, and
Yeah.
Embiid, plus
Mm-hmm.
Tobias Harris and Josh
Yeah.
Richardson.
Yeah.
It looked good on paper,
It does.
but it's
Yeah.
just like so many players trying to get in the lane. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It's
Yeah. Personally, I think they would do like a 3-team deal of some sort to land and beat on the Warriors.
yeah,
Like they definitely should pair up Horford in that deal. But I feel like ultimately he's gonna end up from the Sixers. He's gonna end up there by himself, and then probably players from another team part of that 3-team trade.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think them firing Brett Brown might
Yeah.
be a sign that they're either gonna run it back and try with a new coach and
Yeah.
try one more season,
Yeah.
or they're just gonna blow it up.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking that as well. It all depends on who they hire.
Yeah,
Because obviously, if you're a coach, say you haven't had any type of run in a while. Like, for example, if Jason Kidd were to go over there, I'm pretty sure he'd be like, okay, I got two superstars. Why would I want to get rid of one? You know?
Yeah.
So he would try to make it work. But you know, those that have been around and have been like fresh off firing someone else, they'll probably be like, okay, this is what we need to do. And they'll consider splitting them apart. So yeah, I feel like the coach definitely dictated to my answer. But yeah, I definitely think that somebody who is up and coming might want to keep them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think if they get like a brand new coach,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna blow it up because they want to have like some kind of identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a difference would be like Steve Nash. Like
Yeah.
him getting signed was huge. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a great move for the Nets.
I
But,
believe so too. Yeah.
like that's a different scenario because those are
Yeah.
two mega superstars with
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie and KD. But this is like two guys that are on the cusp of being mega superstars. They just can't
Yeah.
hit that
Yeah.
because their team is just. I think it was constructed poorly. First
Yeah.
of all,
Yeah. No, I agree.
so
It's
I
like,
think there's a lot of that's gonna happen to that team within like now in the off season for sure.
oh yeah, I agree. I agree. It'll be interesting to see though. Starting with who they hire.
Yeah, because they're the ones that take it. I think Ty Lue.
Ty Lue, they're looking at Ty Lue.
I
Okay.
think they said they were close to a
Mm,
deal, and Ty Lue wasn't great for the
yeah,
Cavs.
he wasn't. I mean, all
But
because he had
this would
LeBron
be
and
his
Kyrie.
chance. Yeah, this
Yeah.
would be his chance to kind of like show like, hey, I'm a good coach.
Hmm.
So maybe they keep him, but
Yeah. Yeah.
personally, I
I
think it's
agree.
time to break him up. It's just
Yeah.
how it is.
No, that's fair. I definitely agree with you. I mean, the Sixers they're constructed poorly, man. Like they have a lot of wings, but none of them can shoot.
And none of
You
them can
know,
defend.
none of them can
Like
defend.
Josh Richardson, great
Yeah.
defender,
Yeah.
not great on offense. Tobias
Nope.
Harris,
Yeah.
revolving door on defense.
Yeah.
And
He was.
offensively, I think he had a lot of pressure for shooting,
Hmm.
so he just
Yeah.
didn't shoot well.
He disappeared in that playoff series for a little bit,
Yeah,
and somewhat came back when on the last game, but it was just too late. It was just
yeah.
way too late. But yeah, no, I agree. I
Definitely shows they
definitely.
made a mistake paying him $36 million.
Yeah, that's too much.
Crazy. Like, because I understand they needed to keep him.
Yeah.
They traded a lot for him,
Mm-hmm.
but
They
a
did.
max contract for a guy that had proven nothing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh man.
Okay, so does Giannis need a Jordan? I think I'm gonna say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, like late game situations,
Mm-hmm.
Giannis is useless in terms of like if you need a three, like he's useless.
I agree.
If you
Yeah.
need a two, he's still like he's useful because he can get to the lane, but
Yeah.
if he gets fouled, like there's no guarantee he's gonna make it.
Mm-hmm. It's
He
pressure
is
time.
turned into
Yeah.
a below average free throw shooter.
Yeah.
And I think that takes into account. He's gained a lot of muscle, and it could be that.
Mm-hmm.
But he airballs quite a lot of free throws
He
for a guy
does.
that's of his like tier. He should not
Yeah.
be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like his literal only move is diving towards the rim,
Mm-hmm.
hoping he gets fouled or gets the dunk.
Yes. Yep.
And I think as good as he is, he needs to become more skilled
Mm-hmm.
because he should not be relying on so heavily on just driving. His
Yeah.
jumper's getting there,
Yeah.
but he needs to do more to be able to take over games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he hasn't shown that yet.
Yeah.
And I think he's so good on defense, but offensively, he definitely needs to like. It feels weird saying this because he averaged 29 points a game, but like
Mm-hmm.
he needs to take it up. Like he needs
Yeah.
to do a lot more than just inside, like just attacking the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what else the Bucks can do.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, you are right. He does average a little over 29, but his touches are basically if you look at a shot chart, it'll probably be most likely inside the key,
with
driving
like
in.
sporadic like threes across
Yeah,
the 3-point line.
exactly. Yeah, you know, if you see what Miami's doing with Giannis and how they are putting him in jail, pretty much he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo has had success guarding this guy, and the way that Giannis gets most of his points, he grabs the rebound, goes coast to coast, and like you said, hopes to get fouled. But other than that, he'll make the occasional open three because defenders will dare him to shoot it because they know his resume. They can't shoot. But other than that, like an elbow jumper here and there, he doesn't have much to offer offensively other than just dominating on a dunk coast to coast. And players have had success doing that. They definitely have. But like you said, late game situations, there's some times where Mike Budenholzer will take him out, and put like Dante in over him, offensively, Kyle Korver over him. But like you said, like what more can the Bucks do? They are deep as anybody on the East. They have it. Shooters, they got defenders, and they are the number one team in the NBA. It's not the Lakers, contrary to what popular people think.
Yeah.
It's not the Lakers. Bucks are the number one team in the NBA, and they've done it for 2 consecutive seasons already. But the thing is, like, to answer the question of the day, or one of the topics of the day, I believe Giannis does need an MJ. Because, I mean, not to compare his play style to Scottie, but he just needs somebody else that he could play off of. And, Warrior fans will love to hear this, but I do believe that he can play alongside Steph and Klay and Draymond without giving any of those guys up.
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe he can't have a Jordan, but he can have some Jordans. That makes sense. It's sporadic, you know what I mean?
Like he can have 3 players that kind of like resemble that kind of guy.
Because if you look at it with Milwaukee right now, he has Chris Middleton. Yeah, he saved their season yesterday for Game 4, but like he needed to will that team to do it, and they obviously did not look rattled. They look focused, disciplined, ready for that game. But how many times can they do that for the regular season? And obviously, like Giannis, and the playoffs. And Giannis's MJ is not obviously Chris Middleton. But I do believe, like, ultimately he does need that other guy that he could play off of. Because if not, then he's gonna have that mentality, that dog mentality that, I have to do it all by myself. And when he fails, that he'll obviously get discouraged. And so, like, all in all, like, having an MJ-esque player there will definitely, like, get some load off his shoulders. And in short, give him more room to operate with everything going on as well. So I do believe that he would have success, even more than what he has now with a player like MJ. Obviously, there's no player like MJ, but I'm just saying, like,
someone with
player.
like a dog mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Just someone that can go get you a bucket.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And like you look at that Game 3 with the Heat, right? Like, when it came down, like they were down by 3.
Yeah.
Giannis is just sitting there.
Yeah.
And Chris Middleton had to go and like take a heavily contested shot. That I don't think was a foul.
I don't think so either.
No. And then it turned into a makeup call for the Heat, and they won. And like, but Giannis was useless throughout that whole play. And that's the problem. Like you can't have, like, I get, like, it's nice to have Giannis right now, but
of course
you can't have your star player, your superstar player, just sit there on the last play.
Oh yeah, he needs to be that guy.
Yeah, he needs to be taking the shot. It's not Chris Middleton's team; it's Giannis's team.
Yeah. So
it's, and like, even if Giannis like got fouled on the 3, like he probably wouldn't have made all of the free throws.
Yeah, exactly. So
he has a lot to work on. Like, as good as he is, there's like, he needs to add some sort of skill to his game.
Yeah.
To like elevate it to a point where it's like, damn, this guy is good.
Yeah. But, I mean, another thing is, like, what I want the people to understand is what me and you are saying is that he doesn't have to have like a James Harden type bag where he has to dribble all that
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
and get a drip and get like a jump shot off or anything like that. But it's just like he just needs more that he can work with because
Mhm.
defenders are figuring out how to guard him. And I mean, you can argue that for anybody. Defenders will always adapt to how great offensive players play. But it's just like he's very limited,
Yeah.
without shooting. And like if we want to go on this road, we can dock off every flaw that a great player has. But it's just like if Giannis wants to take his game to the next level, like he said, contrary to what other people think that he's already done it, he needs more. And I think he can get better. He can. He's still pretty young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like 25,
Yeah.
24.
Yeah. He has plenty of room to work. But I think I don't want to say it, but that's what it seems like. He kind of is of a liability in late game situations sometimes. Because like you said, like if you're down 3, like okay, Chris Middleton, obviously they're gonna go to him. Like you can only really go to Giannis if you're down 2 or you're down 1 and you need that bucket to drive.
Yeah.
That's why you have a whole team, right? But essentially, like he looks like he becomes a liability because he ends up sitting sometimes.
Yeah.
And we see it. And so like yeah, so that's definitely where he needs to improve on as well.
I think a better comparison instead of Michael Jordan and Pippen, it would have
Yeah.
been Kobe and Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
I think because he needs someone that can just go get a bucket.
Yeah.
Like Shaq was obviously he's not useless, but he was
Yeah. Yeah.
useless in those situations where you're down 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He just needs someone that can just get a bucket. And I think Chris Middleton, he can get a bucket.
Yeah.
Just he's been so inconsistent throughout this whole playoffs, the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
He's been like the Bucks have been struggling.
They
They went
have been.
3-5 in the
Mm-hmm.
bubble
Mm-hmm.
for the regular season. And
Yeah.
they lost that first game against the Magic, which they
Yeah.
shouldn't have because the Magic are not good. They're without Aaron Gordon and
Yeah.
one other player, but like you shouldn't have to like lose one game to like get you going. And to go
Yeah.
down 3 games to the
Yeah.
Heat when you're the best team,
And your championship favorite
unacceptable.
team. Yeah.
Unacceptable. In the
Yeah.
second round, it's not even the third round. Like
Yeah.
it's unacceptable like by any means.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I definitely agree. The Bucks have been a disappointment. I would argue.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
and like last season, I feel like they had a better season than this season for sure, because they weren't met with somebody that can match up with them like the way that Miami does. I want to remind a lot of people during the regular season, Miami has a winning record against these guys before the bubble. So I think this was just a matchup that they did not anticipate coming in, obviously, in the playoffs. And they weren't just well equipped. And I think, obviously, if they were to lose, I think they were, because no team has ever come back from 3-0. The blame is not going to be on Giannis or Chris Middleton or any of these guys. It's going to go to Mike Budenholzer, and he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
After 2 consecutive like dominant seasons in the regular season. But it's crazy because like, what more do you want, right? But yeah, essentially, like you're definitely right. Like it's just insane to see how much they've folded when it came to the playoffs, because in the playoffs you're supposed to turn up, you're supposed to be a different animal, but that wasn't the case. Like you said, after the Bucks lost to Orlando, one of the only teams who didn't get swept in the first round, and then they lost 3 straight games to Miami before barely winning it yesterday. So
and they got like completely carried by one player. Chris Middleton was going off. Finally.
He got carried. You know what? He was exhausted, bro, and like you could see it. He called the timeout just so he can rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. Finally.
And you have to do that 3 more times.
Yep.
And then go play the next day. Like,
yeah,
that's tough.
You know what? Because it's honestly not looking like Giannis is gonna be there for the next game. He was wearing a boot, man.
Yeah, that's a pretty, like, if you're like they said it was ankle sprain, and you're
Hmm.
wearing a boot.
Yeah,
Something's not adding up.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, I feel like he overexerted himself somehow, and so like going forward, it's not going to be a good look on his body. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it is for tomorrow. And let me just say that's one of the best things about being in the bubble because there's literally a game every day.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah. So yeah, basically we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think like Budenholzer, like people were like really like trashing him because he's only playing like 30 minutes,
Hmm.
which is odd to play
Yeah.
your star 30 minutes.
Hmm.
But now you see that like something was going on with Giannis if he
Hmm.
was only playing 30 minutes and he still like hurt his ankle like that. So something's going on with them.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, but that takes us into our next topic. Like,
Hmm.
do you think Giannis is gonna leave if they lose? And do you
Yes.
think like he requests the trade, or do you think like he just waits, plays out the next year, and then signs with someone else?
Um, Personally, yes, I do think he leaves, but a lot of it plays into what happens with Mike Budenholzer. Because if he does get canned, um, Giannis is going to see how the Bucks respond after that, obviously. And if they can sway Jason Kidd away, who Giannis has worked with,
And
I think
love,
absolutely love, he's going to stay. I'm going to
yeah,
say that. He's going to stay. But if they sign somebody else, I would even argue if they sign anybody else but Jason Kidd, he's leaving.
yeah.
And, I think he'll go to you guys, to the Warriors. Shout out my guy Benji again because he thinks that he's going to pull a KD and go to the Heat. And we were talking about this earlier. First, with my take, I think he is definitely. He definitely has a higher chance of going to the Warriors just because his relationship with Steph.
Yeah.
And ABC7 has played that alley oop on a loop.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who's playing against the
Yeah,
Bucks.
yeah,
It's always that bounce pass.
yeah. And although the Heat have all the pieces shooting wise, you can even argue they have more shooters than the Warriors because the Warriors only have Steph and Clay right now,
Yeah.
right? So it would definitely stretch and open the floor for Giannis so he can operate to do what he does best, right? But who wouldn't want to play with the two arguably greatest shooters in the history of the NBA, right? And the championship pedigree that they have and what Draymond can do for Giannis.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would clog the lane having Draymond and Giannis there, but Draymond knows his spots. His IQ is up there. He's intelligent, and we see that when he's breaking plays down when he works for inside the NBA. But
Even
that's
just
just
tweeting, like he's been
yeah.
like
Hmm.
breaking everything down. He sounded like he's definitely like some guy. I think he's gonna be a coach at some point in his career.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's gonna be a coach.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely agree. And you know what? Who wouldn't want to take Giannis over Wiggins? You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So I believe he has a higher chance of going to the Warriors. But contrary, I've been seeing this on my timeline on Twitter as well. Um, you know, if Pat Riley can sway Giannis to go to Miami, that's big for them. Obviously, superstar player. But he would definitely like to be on Miami for me personally because of what Dragic, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and even Jay Crowder sometimes can do for him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he's a defensive player of the year. And what is one thing that Miami does best? Play defense. So building into that culture, it'll be an easy transition. So I can see why a lot of people say that he can go to Miami. But ultimately, I think if it's not Jason Kidd, he leaves.
Yeah.
Um, he's loyal to Milwaukee, but I think he's just frustrated. And the time is now for Giannis to win because even though he's young, he needs to get his now.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron and AD obviously, LeBron is declining. He's old. Year 17, yeah, he does what he does, but he's on the path to get a championship, right? But Giannis, I don't want to say this, but he needs to take the throne.
He
And
does.
he needs to take the throne. While KD right now is gonna figure out how to gel and blend in with this new Brooklyn team.
Yeah.
So the opportunity's there, especially if he joins Miami. But I just think that he's better fit for the Warriors because the Warriors have a very smart coaching staff, um, all the way down to their scouts. And so I believe that the decision making that the Warriors will commence with Giannis potentially saying that he wants to leave will be very, very smart because of the way that they're going to surround him.
Yeah.
And I think they don't have to give up much because I already feel like Giannis wants to leave. You know,
Yeah.
so
It really seems like it because I think with this series, I think it's going to be a breaking point because it's tough to keep to lose all those years, finally get good, and just be snuffed 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love Giannis on the Warriors, Giannis and Steph with Clay, Dre, the bench guys, Eric Pascal, Jordan Poole, that would be a great team. I don't think it's as good as KD.
Yeah, of course.
But Giannis on the Warriors would just be extremely good. But I think I don't know if the Warriors are trying to throw a smoke screen and say hey, we don't want to trade Wiggins.
Yeah.
But they seem very committed to Wiggins.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm a GM, I'd trade Wiggins in a heartbeat for Giannis.
Yeah.
Just trade those 2 picks that we have, just flip them. Easy.
You know, like you said, I saw an article where Bob Myers, I don't know if he actually did say it, but he had Wiggins in their core 4.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And so to say that about a player of Wiggins' caliber is high praise. If I was Wiggins, I'd believe it's high praise. But one thing that we talked about this whole discussion that we've been having is that what has Wiggins really done for him to warrant that kind of praise, right? Great player, but
played 12 good games with the Warriors, but it's not enough. He didn't play with Steph, Clay, and Dre enough to be that guy's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I definitely think it's a smokescreen. Just like the Warriors are keeping their pick.
Yeah.
There's no way they select anyone in this draft. It's not deep enough to warrant a pick like this.
Exactly. And speaking of that, like I said, James Wiseman, he better start looking for houses in Milwaukee.
I'd be happy with that. Because as good as James Wiseman is, there's not enough tape on him.
It's not.
And I think a lot of Warrior fans think oh, we're gonna get Wiseman. It's you look at it, he has no tape. He has no real resume on what he did.
Yeah.
His high school is not anything compared to college.
It's not. Yeah.
And especially that jump from college to the NBA, it is gigantic. You see guys like Jimmer Fredette, great in college, terrible in the NBA. So, and with bigs, what I've been thinking is it's hard to justify paying a big once their rookie contract ends.
Yeah.
Because they're just that. Bigs are dying in terms of breed. You don't need a big to win a championship. The Warriors showed that. We won with Zaza.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need a big.
Yeah.
Guys like Anthony Davis, that's different. He can do everything.
He can.
But I think another team to look out for is Dallas.
Okay.
I think if you want to go for the best fit for a future, look no further than Luka and Kristaps. Those 3 together, you make one of the lengthiest defenses. And then you also add Luka's playmaking ability, his scoring, everything.
Yeah.
He's so good on offense. Defense, he's not good, but
he'll
eventually get there. He's tall. He's a 6'5", 6'6" point guard.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great fit. And then Masai Ujiri got Giannis to come to America. So they're also super close. So Toronto definitely has their hand in this Giannis sweepstakes.
Yeah.
So there are so many different options for him to go. I mean, they said the same thing about KD to the Warriors. So
that's what I was about to say, man. This is how those rumors started, bro.
And because no one thought KD was actually gonna leave.
Yeah.
But he did.
He
He
did.
wanted a championship. Like, yeah, loyalty speaks like volume,
Yeah.
but rings speak louder, you know?
Oh yeah. Yep. It's all
Like,
about the rings, man.
and like the only two teams that can say, like, hey, we can guarantee you a championship if you come, the
Yeah.
Heat and the Warriors.
Oh yeah.
Dallas can't guarantee anything. The
Nope.
Raptors won one with Kawhi.
Yeah.
And now they're like kind of like limping into that Boston series, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're showing their championship pedigree, but
Yeah.
they're not showing enough yet.
Mhm.
That Heat team with Giannis, just
Yeah.
I think they win outright.
Oh yeah.
Warriors with Giannis win outright. Like
Yeah.
you could go to each side. Like it really depends.
Yeah. You plug him into any of these systems, and it'll work.
Yeah,
It'll work.
that's not a guarantee on the other teams.
Mhm.
In this, like it's a guarantee that you'll
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah. And like we've with the Warriors, what I'm gonna say is that like you said with KD, they've shown that they're willing to take a step back. Steph and Clay are willing to take a step back for KD to get the shine. And
Yeah.
obviously, Giannis is not the player that KD is, and I obviously think that KD was a better fit than Giannis would be. But these guys, the most important thing is that they welcome him. They take a step back. They utilize him to the system. They're not selfish with the ball, and Giannis is going to appreciate that because going to the Warriors, the possibility of going to the Warriors, it's going to have him thinking like, wow, like I'm actually playing with greats that are sharing the ball, and that the pressure isn't on me.
Yeah.
And the system is going to get him far. And then you put him in Miami, I'm pretty sure same thing. These guys, even though they haven't reached the championship except for Iguodala, they're willing to share the ball. And if Jimmy Butler, and I feel like obviously Jimmy Butler is going to be there. Jimmy Butler's there. If things aren't going well, he'll make sure it does.
Yeah.
With the team. And so plugging Giannis into that type of system, and Butler played with Simmons and Embiid on the Sixers, so I'm pretty sure he's equipped playing with the superstar like that. And so like you said, any one of these teams outright, not even guaranteed, but championship finals appearance just right there.
And like another thing to take into account is coaching staffs.
Yes.
Both sides have fantastic coaching staff. I would argue that the Heat like coaching staff is better. Eric Spoelstra's, I think, like I've seen some people in the NBA say that he's the best coach like right now, and I could see that because he's taken like a Heat team that was supposed to be, 7th, 8th seed, and taking them to almost sweeping the Bucks.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Yeah, they were close, man. They were close. Yeah. And Spo is the longest tenured coach after Greg Popovich. So that just shows the volumes. You know what I mean? Even though they've had losing seasons, like they trust this guy. And
they've had like positives throughout the season. I think like with losing teams, like you have teams that lose and they don't develop anyone. They don't they just kind of limp there, get the pick.
Yeah. Yep.
But the Heat always develop someone.
Yeah.
In those seasons, like Bam Adebayo was never supposed to be a 16-10 guy.
Yeah.
He was never supposed to be an all-star.
Yep.
Look at him now. Like he's been amazing for them. And then like their championship pedigree also comes from Pat Riley.
Yeah.
He's a great owner and a great GM or owner. Yeah. GM. He's been amazing for them. He got Jimmy Butler when no one wanted him.
Yeah.
I think like maybe not no one, but like I think like he wasn't as sought after as like some of these other guys.
No, I know what you mean. Like, that his reputation is a big reason of that, but like you said, like Pat Riley like wanted him, D Wade vouched for him. Yeah. And so it definitely speaks volumes for this Heat organization. But both sides definitely smart players and coaches on both sides. So wherever he ends up with, if he does leave, will be beneficial to him in the long run, in my opinion. And I think he's not going to pull a KD by leaving whatever team he goes to. If he goes to Miami or if he goes to the Warriors, he's going to stay.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay. and he's just not gonna go to another different team.
Yeah, and I think that was like I never really knew this about KD until he came to the Warriors, but like
Mm-hmm.
he is a sensitive dude.
He is, dude.
And I never realized that because he always pretty much kept to himself in Oklahoma, just kind of
Yeah,
like did his thing, got his
yeah,
buckets,
yeah.
and then left.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he gets to the Warriors and like he's clapping back at people on
Yeah,
Twitter, on Instagram, and like the dude is sensitive.
he is. He is.
And it's crazy on like for a player to be like
Yeah,
that sensitive
to
of
care
his
so
caliber
much.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy too because he doesn't hide it.
No.
He'll make it known that, hey, like what you said to me bothers me, and I'm gonna let you know how I feel about it. You know?
Like I respect that about him, but like
Yeah, yeah,
it's crazy on how much like he takes it so personal.
yeah, yeah. No, it is for being so great. You know, because if you look at his personality and compare him to somebody like Kawhi, like, you know, he all time like he's great,
Yeah.
but he doesn't speak a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't have social media that he uses at least. And so like, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's interesting with that guy, man. But
Yeah.
I definitely think, just on a side note, what they're going to be doing in Brooklyn is going to be insane.
I think if Steve Nash can get them to work together,
Yeah.
they're going to be so good.
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to be frightening on
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah. You know, especially being on the East. Like,
Yeah, that is a weak Eastern Conference.
yeah.
And to put Katie and Kyrie on the same team,
Yep.
Jared Allen, Spencer
Yeah.
Dinwiddie,
Yeah. Karis.
LeVert. Oh,
Yeah.
they're in the bubble. Oh, man. Like, I would
Yeah.
turn on the Nets game and be like, yeah, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah. No,
Because he
exactly.
would go get some buckets, like crazy buckets.
Yeah.
And
And
I
like,
think this is like the bubble was so good for him
yeah.
because he got a chance to be like, this is like what it's like to have my own team. And
Mm-hmm.
like on an ISO heavy team like that, it could be perfect for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Like
Yeah.
he showcased his talent and so showed the people what he can do. Because you know, after he got injured, it's just people were thinking like, oh man, like is he gonna be the same, all that stuff. But you know, he's gonna be that third option for the Nets, and they're gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch those guys, man.
Honestly, that's kind of what the Lakers need.
Yeah,
A Karis
dude.
LeVert.
Nah, definitely. And you know what? The funny part is, we thought Karis was Dion. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, yeah, we definitely need like somebody like that. But
And
unfortunately,
it like to go off like of Dion, like I love Dion
yeah.
Waiters, but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't fit that team whatsoever.
He doesn't. He doesn't. But what I will say is this, man. I want him to play over Rondo. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, yesterday, yeah, like Rondo had a positive showing, but like, man, we need ball handlers that can get his
Yeah.
and score because he can break Dion. He can break you down, get a bucket, driving, shooting. Defense is not there, but like with Rondo, he's just bro. Like his decision making is not as good as it used to be. Like the plus and minus that he had yesterday was great,
Yeah.
but like game one, oh, what was that, man? You know what I mean? And like people like Dion on the team need to get more burn because like we can't throw it back to 2008 to 2010 thinking Rondo is going to be playoff Rondo. I mean, yeah, he did what he did with the Pelicans and AD,
Yeah.
but it's just you have him and Braun at the same time, man. This is what I've been wanting to say. It's not a good look. Both of them require the ball to be who they are.
Yeah.
And if you have both of them on the same time, it gives defenders a chance to double LeBron. No one's going to double Rondo. And doubling LeBron, it's going to leave Rondo open, but he can't shoot. He can make the occasional three, but he can't shoot. And so, like, it just irritates me so much. But, like, yeah, I love Dion too, man. But he's not fitting with the team right now because I feel like he's not getting a chance to showcase his abilities. Like, yeah, the bubble, but He can get his, man, and I feel like he needs more burn. Him and Jr. You
Yeah,
know,
like I'm surprised that. Well, it's tough to be like they came in at the worst time. I think
I agree.
like
I agree.
if they had come in like and there was no COVID, no
Mm-hmm.
bubble, they would have been
Yeah.
fine because they would have got like 20 games together,
True.
and they were so ahead of the Western Conference. Just play them, get their
True.
run.
True.
But I think it's tough because like Dion could be that third guy for them. Doesn't need
Mm.
the ball to score. Like in
Yeah.
terms of like he doesn't need to like dribble a bunch and like just score. He can do whatever he needs to score.
You can spot up if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like LeBron needs to be the playmaker. He's the
Mm-hmm.
point guard of that team.
Yep.
With no Avery Bradley, you
Yeah.
need him to be the one that takes over on the
Yeah.
playmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Rondo should not be playing
Yeah.
in terms of like with LeBron.
Yeah.
That's an awkward fit.
It is, bro. It is. Like I don't know what Vogel is thinking sometimes, man. We have too much faith in Rondo. And what makes it worse is he's coming off an injury and he played it. Not heavy minutes, but he played a lot of minutes game one, man. Like, what is that, you know? And like,
Well, they don't have another point guard other
they
than
don't.
Caruso.
They don't. And like, I would even argue that he's not a point guard.
No,
Like,
he's not.
yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? And like, Caruso does his damage off the ball and on defense, but bringing it down, like, I don't think that's a strength.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, in Texas A&M, obviously college is a whole different story, but Texas A&M, like, he could get away with that because college is college. But when it comes to the NBA, man, like, that's not his position. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess I understand why Rondo was played as much as he was, but at the end of the day, like, he should not be playing with the way that he's playing. Like, if he can step up somehow and change it, but yeah, by all means. But
Yeah.
with the way that he's just doing it, it's just not it, man. It's
Like
not
even
it.
with like Avery Bradley, like he's not a point guard.
He's not.
Avery Bradley's been a career too,
Yeah.
and that's why he fits so well on that team though. Like he could
Mm-hmm.
spot up, he hit shots when he needed to, but he
Yeah.
plays great defense.
Oh yeah.
And
I
if
miss
they
him.
had that during the Portland series,
Yeah.
that would have been a clean sweep.
That would have been a clean sweep. I mean, it would have been a clean sweep with Houston and Harden and Westbrook too, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I think like that Rockets team, as good as they are, they
Yeah.
have a lot of problems
Mm-hmm.
in terms of their defense.
Yeah.
You can't expect to have like a 6'5" center
Yeah.
and win every game. Like
Yeah.
the adjustments for that are very simple.
It is. It is. And it's crazy because right now in the bubble, they're the number one defensive rating team, but it's just I don't see it that way.
I don't either.
You know, and like you said, it's simple adjustments when it comes to playing against that type of plays. But you know, PJ Tucker, like, I'm sorry to say, he held his own against AD. He holds his own, and like I've seen a clip, man, like of like, you know, some Warrior fans slandering the Lakers, and he has a good point. PJ Tucker put your guys' favorite players in jail, and Steph was toying with him like 2 seasons ago or last season. And like I just want to say that the Rockets can only get away with that for so long.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, the threes that they be chucking up, if they're not going in, like game 4 Harden, game 6 or no, game 7 Harden, my bad. Game 7 Harden against the OKC Thunder, and like how he wasn't really putting up anything until that last defensive play. Man, they're gonna be easy to beat. But
yeah,
you know, like I said, I love the Lakers, and you know, I'm not really like just making fun of them, but it's just they've got matched up with the Lakers team that needs to get punched before they can adjust. And once they adjust, it's over. you know? So
and that could be dangerous in some ways because
mm-hmm.
like you can't do that against the Heat.
You can't. You definitely can't.
Jimmy Butler will just keep punching.
Exactly.
And he's gonna punch until you're down. Man. Like
yeah,
they don't give up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. On the other side of what I just said is a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's just game 1. See what happened with Portland." Yeah, but we can only get away with that for so long. Once we reach the conference finals, and then ultimately, hopefully, the finals. You can't get away with just, okay, we'll lose game one. Obviously, they're not trying to do that, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, they can't get away with that kind of mentality and that kind of play. Like you said,
I
if
think
we
at
were,
least with the conference finals,
Mhm.
you have the Nuggets and the Clippers,
Yeah,
and both of those I don't think they're even close to the Rockets or the Lakers, because I
true.
think the Clippers just they've had a tough season in terms of like their health.
They have.
The Nuggets, you put Jokic on AD,
That's
that's
barbecue chicken.
exactly like
Yeah,
that should be 40 points a night.
yeah, and it's crazy because like the Lakers, to me, obviously are the best, but bro, the Clippers are deep, man. You
Yeah,
can't
they are.
you can't like front that. Their bench could be starters. Trez, Lou Will.
Yeah,
I mean, Jamichael Green. You know what I mean? And Landry Shamet, Reggie Jackson. I mean, because
yeah,
these guys, all three of those guards rotate when Pat Bev isn't there, right?
yeah.
And I mean, they don't even use Noah, but yeah, like they're deep, and I would argue that they have a deeper bench than the Lakers just because of what I've seen from the Lakers, man. Like Vogel's rotations and how these guys are playing. But yeah, you're right. The Clippers, the Nuggets, they're not anywhere near the Rockets. So I feel like surprisingly, the Lakers will only have trouble with the Rockets right now because they're not used to playing a team with no traditional big.
Yeah.
And so once I'm not saying that the Clippers and Nuggets won't give them trouble if they were to meet in the conference finals, but I'm just saying like it'd be a little bit easier playing against a team that is traditional in the sense of having a big. So yeah,
Yeah, and like you've seen the Nuggets, like Jamal Murray's giving them buckets.
he is.
I
He
mean, like he
is.
crossed like that step back, that pullback on Kawhi. That
Kawhi,
was
yep,
nasty.
that was. And speaking of Kawhi, he only had 0 points, only 0 points in the fourth quarter. But it comes with the territory, right, of being that kind of superstar player. But see, I feel like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, how come he's not getting the same treatment as LeBron and all that stuff?" Or maybe it's because like LeBron is just on a whole nother tier. And
Mhm.
although Kawhi is great, he's not out there posting on social media about his highlights and all that stuff. So it's easy to not really ignore, but like, okay, like
To forget.
Kawhi, forget. Yeah. Kawhi didn't do so well, but he'll bounce back. Cause he's like,
Yeah,
it's not even humble. It's just like, oh, okay, I messed up. Like he has nothing to say about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so that's why people are very quick to forget that Kawhi and LeBron won't get the same treatment. Even Giannis, for that matter. You know
yeah,
what I mean? LeBron is he's held to a different standard, and so
yeah.
that's why I feel like. But yeah, ultimately I do think the Clippers will win this game. But if somehow the Nuggets can pull it off and just beat them, I'll be so happy. The path to
Oh
the
yeah,
finals will be so much easier.
because like defensively the Lakers are better, no doubt.
Hmm. Hmm.
Offensively, Nuggets might have a step or two,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not enough. You could score like 150, and the Lakers are still gonna like match you point for point because defensively you are so bad.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
Jokic is a pillow,
yeah. He is.
and Jamal Murray is a revolving door. I
Yeah.
think their two best defenders are like Paul Millsap, Jeremy Grant,
Hmm.
Torrey Craig.
Yep. Torrey Craig. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I just have doubts potentially. Like I obviously don't want to guarantee the Lakers are going to win because I don't want to jinx anything and just all that stuff.
yeah,
But if the Lakers were, if the Lakers were going to face the Nuggets, I want to remind the people that in one of the games against the bubble, the Lakers had their starting five playing against the Nuggets third stringers, and they
and it was
struggled.
yeah,
Like Kuzma had to hit a game winner for the Lakers to win. And yeah, regular season, playoff LeBron, playoff AD, whatever you want to say, it might be a different story. But man, if they struggled the way that they did, and they are faced with the Nuggets, that might be some issues right there. Um,
and that
but
was kind of the
ultimately,
start of like Kuzma coming down
yeah, it really
because he said he
was.
could guard Jesus or Jesus
Yeah,
couldn't guard him.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? Jesus is making them suffer right now.
He really is.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I would definitely argue that that possibly might have been the start of the downfall of Kuzma. Again, it wasn't the first downfall, but yeah. So it's interesting to see, just because like Jamal Murray will get his
Yeah.
regardless of what happens. He'll get his.
I mean, like,
Um,
what, 450 pieces, 350
yeah,
pieces, and like
yeah,
to come back from 3-1, like that dude is
yeah,
blossoming
yeah.
into a star.
He is. He is. And as much as he is a revolving door, ultimately he figures it out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the funniest things that happened lately was when Scott Van Pelt was interviewing him after that emotional Game 7 win. He's like, "Oh, so what adjustments are you gonna make for so and so? Like they only have one day off and then they go play again." And he's like, "Oh man, we play already?" Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, and then you saw it in the Clippers. Like, he was held to a very low scoring total.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he does make the adjustments, and we see that in Game 2. But all in all, I believe that the Clippers, unfortunately, will win this series.
I think so. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, because I mean, how the Lakers respond, right? With the Blazers series, they won 4 straight after losing that Game 1. But I don't know if they can do that with the Rockets, because the Rockets definitely have more firepower.
Yeah.
So
It really comes down to Harden.
mm-hmm.
Harden was like, he only took 13 shots last night, something like
Yeah,
that, 12
yeah,
shots. Like,
yeah.
he needs to be more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he cares way too much about his stats at this point. Like,
Yeah,
he needs to show that he's that guy. Because I really thought that this was their year to win.
yeah.
Because no Warriors.
I was about to say that. No Steph, no
Like,
Clay, nobody standing in your way. But you
I
get
really
Clay
thought
over.
this dude was about to average 45 points a game.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he's really hovering around 30, which is great. But
yeah.
like, James Harden is like kind of like a different tier on offense. Like, he's arguably the best offensive player we have right now.
I agree. I
And he
definitely agree.
needs to be more aggressive at this point.
Yeah, and even like his defense is, we were slandering him before for having poor defense, but he's definitely stepped it up.
When he needs to, he's a
Yeah,
great defender.
yeah, true. Other than that, he definitely saves his energy for offense.
Oh yeah, and I don't blame him,
Yeah, me neither.
because like it's tough to do both sides. I don't know how Kawhi does it or
Yeah.
did it for so long, because like now you kind of see like his defense is kind of falling,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but he doesn't need a great defense on that Clippers team, because you have
Yeah.
PG, you got Bev, Montrez.
Mm-hmm.
They have good defenders already.
Yeah.
But for the Rockets, like
Yeah.
they're different.
They are. And one thing I want to say for everybody listening out there, I love Westbrook. I love him so much, and I'm not saying I love the way that he plays because he's a bonehead sometimes. I love him because he reminds me of Kobe. Like, he's not trying to be your friend when he's playing, and like he's always going 110%, regardless of what that is. Like, yeah, poor decision making, poor shot making, turnovers, all that stuff, but you can't flaunt that he doesn't have the heart to play.
Yeah.
And he's definitely one of the most athletic point guards in NBA history, next to Prime D Rose.
Yeah.
But if they're gonna be great and gonna go on to the next, potentially beat the Lakers, he needs to step it up, because Harden can't do it all on his own. That's why they got him in the first place, right? And so like it's crazy, because after losing in Game 1, like I was at a standstill, because I was like, man, like Westbrook did pretty good, but the Lakers lost. So I'm kind of like, oh man, he's definitely one of my favorite players right now. Not saying he's one of the best point guards, I'm not saying that he's one of the top point guards in the NBA, because man, you got Steph, you got Dame, you got all these other guys, but he's up there, and
Yeah.
I just love his demeanor. Basketball IQ wise, definitely needs some work. He's trying to do too much with his athleticism. He's trying to beat you with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he just try to slow the game down, that's the downside of his athletic motor. If he just slow the game down and think, I feel like he would be much better. But ultimately, for the Rockets to succeed, he needs to be the Robin to Harden's Batman, because that's clearly Harden's team. It's not his. And so they're going to have a chance that he's going to need to step up, and Harden is going to need his supporters, like shooters and all that, to step up with them. Because I mean, I want to bring up something else too. Austin Rivers, bro, he had a 40 piece. Come on now, that
And then
was
all of a sudden,
crazy.
the next game, he had like 5.
Yeah,
Like, you
dude.
can't do that. Follow it
Yeah,
up at least.
yeah, at least hit double digits. But yeah, if they're gonna have a chance, and if they're gonna get over the hump that is known as a Mount Golden State, they're gonna they're gonna need Westbrook to aid Harden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that Rockets team is really weird because, like, they lost to the Golden State this year on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
No.
And then all of a sudden, they trade Capella and they go
Mm-hmm.
into, like, this little pocket Rockets kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All this dude is, what, 6'7", 6'8", being Robert Covington.
Yep.
And they're a weird team.
They
But you
are.
got to respect them for, like, just going all in.
Yeah. And going as far as they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the experiment definitely worked to reach him this far. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody else can talk about them that's not playing in the bubble right now because it's gotten him so far. But no disrespect to Covington, he's a great defender when he needs to as well. He holds his own. But these guys, it can only get them so far. They don't have firepower like the Warriors did to play that small ball.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so ultimately, I think this series ends not in 5. I do think it's in 6, possibly even 7. But they have firepower to do it. It's just they're gonna have to catch the Lakers on a bad day, like they did in Game 1. And I don't think that's gonna happen because LeBron looks like he's locked in now.
With
He's
those
like,
Mamba
okay,
jerseys,
yeah, man.
they go to a different level.
Yeah, and you know what? I was just scared because they lost a 20-point lead and they were down by 5 at one point, and I was just like, okay, you know what? Kobe ain't saving these guys anymore. But he stepped up, and like that's another thing. Like, yeah, Braun is 35 years old. His time is dwindling, but when he's in the postseason, he's just on a whole different level.
Yeah,
And
like
so, like,
I've
yeah,
learned to hate LeBron because
yeah,
when he played against us in the finals so many times. I got
yeah,
so tired of him. I respect him, but I
yeah.
hate him.
Oh yeah.
And like as a Warriors fan, like that's just how it is. We played him 3 years, like 4
Mm-hmm.
years is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but like he goes to a different level. Like triple
Yeah.
doubles are nothing for him in the postseason. And
Yeah.
there's a reason
And
because he's definitely one of the best players of all time.
yeah.
And like there's a reason for that.
Yeah. You know what? I was just gonna say, like, if LeBron wasn't on my team, I still wouldn't like him. You know what I mean? Hey, man, Kobe fan for life.
Yeah.
I definitely, my biased opinion is Kobe's better than LeBron, even though LeBron has better statistics and numbers and all that. But yeah, like LeBron just doesn't have that killer mentality that Kobe does. But
No,
when it
not at
when
all.
it when it comes to the playoffs, he does turn into a different animal. Like he lost to the Warriors 2018 game 1. But that performance, like my friend Val said, I'm gonna shout him out. That was insane, man. Triple double, basically willed them to almost the win. If it wasn't for
Yeah.
JR's last minute breakdown, that would have been a game 1 win for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You know what I
Easy.
mean? And he was going against the Titans of the NBA, bro. Like Steph, Clay, KD at the height of the finals. They were coming off a win, and they were looking at it as if, okay, we're gonna shoot these guys, which they proceeded to do.
Yeah.
But if that performance was just something else, man. But yeah, I'm tired of using that excuse sometimes because when the Lakers lose, oh yeah, playoff LeBron, you can't count him out. But you can see the age in some of these
Yeah.
games. You know what I
You
mean?
can.
So I'm just hoping, man, because last time the Lakers won a ship, I was a freshman in high school, and so like we'll see how far him and AD can take them. And one last thing about AD, bro, I hate how he starts so slow, soft. Like obviously AD's great player. Obviously I was against trading for him at first, because of
Yeah.
his resume with injuries and all that stuff. But yeah, he's a great player. But it's just like like I think that he needs to step up from the beginning. And
Yeah. He does.
it's just, bro, like if he doesn't get like cyberbullied into playing like he is, I kind of feel like he doesn't become the generational player that we got him
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, bro? Every time he faces up on Tucker, I'm just like, what are you doing?
Like, it's not going to end well.
It's not, because PJ Tucker, I would argue that he's stronger than AD, man, with the way that he's holding his own.
Yeah.
But if you were to like, that drop step that AD does, with the elbow sometimes that he does spin on Harden, if he continues to dominate like that, and I get that it's hard to consistently do, then it'll just be easy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just he needs to play with a sense of urgency from the beginning, and for the Lakers to be successful. And same thing with LeBron, but LeBron will be LeBron. But it's just it all falls on AD. So yeah,
he needs to like. They both need to at least like. They need to take over games at this point because no one else on the team is going to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
No, I
Kyle
definitely
Kuzma
agree.
is who Kyle Kuzma is this season. Like he's not going to change overnight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not.
But
yeah,
that Lakers team definitely needs a third scorer.
Yeah.
Because right now they're filled with a bunch of role players.
Mm-hmm.
They need someone to step up at this point.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I agree. So we'll see. We'll see what happens because at this point I'm just tired with Kuzma, man. I would trade him and Danny Green for Bradley Beal in a heartbeat. I would do it right now.
Bradley Beal would be exactly what the Lakers need right now.
Yeah. Third option. I mean, he shared the limelight with John Wall. So
yeah.
So, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for our 7th episode of Full Court Talk. Thanks for hopping on. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem. But if you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, and then also be sure to check out my website. It's gonna be down in the link, and for more NBA content. And then I'm also gonna put our social media. Follow us there, and but catch you guys in the next one.